Well, thank you very much for inviting me to come today. I'm from Denmark, and I'll talk a little bit about screening programs. I mean, do we want to screen everybody? Does it work? What kind of interventions should we offer? So, screening offers the opportunity in healthy individuals to see if there's a disease process and to intervene in those cases, at least where we have a disease. However, there's also a lot of problems with screening. You inform of risk, there are many false positives, and that gives challenges, right? It creates anxiety and so on. Okay, that's good. So in Denmark, we have a lot of screening programs. For instance, if you turn 50, you'll get a letter in your box. There will be a little plastic tube you put in your feces. It's being sent to the lab. If you have blood, you will get a coloscopy, but it has only a positive rate of 10%. So it will create a lot of worrisome, but it will also find early cases of colorectal cancers. That allows us to intervene and, what we all want to do, increase the health span. But we are at exciting times. We all know about AI, but in the biomedical and biochemical and molecular technologies, there's also coming a lot of new tests. And I personally, the first slide kind of was lost, but I'm the CSO of a company called Virogates, which produces products that measure chronic inflammation, and I worked on that 28 years in a university hospital in Copenhagen as a research director, just to get my conflicts of interest up there. But one of the things, of course, I think what I've been working on is really interesting, and it's about chronic inflammation. And why is that so interesting? We all heard about chronic inflammation. The problem is, until recently, we haven't been very good in actually measuring chronic inflammation. But even the early stages back in the 90s with the development of this highly sensitive CRP assay, we could see that there's this underlying state of inflammation, of fire in all of us that predicts a number of all kinds of diseases, from neurological diseases to diabetes, to cancers, to cardiovascular diseases. So my research and my group's research has been focusing on reasons for, common denominators for a lot of different diseases, because if we could intervene there, we could actually prevent a lot of disease. So I'm jumping a little bit here, but it's because in Denmark we also asked the question, could we from the government offer some screening to the general population? We all know what bad things are. What about if we said you get free nicotine substitution if you're a smoker? We teach you about dietary interventions. If you're overweight, we give you free fitness cards. Go and do all these things that we do. Could we, from the governmental side, reduce the number of, increase the health span and reduce mortality in the general population? So 10,000 people were invited, 6,000 had every second year follow up with a dietist, with the exercise, with so on, and getting all these free nicotine substitution and so on. 3,000 were just informed about their risk. And the same age and sex match individuals, which was 30, 40, 50, and 60-year-old Danes, were followed in registers, 50,000 almost. So could we do something about that? Well, we came in and measured chronic inflammation in this population, this biomarker called suPAR. It's a long word, really, soluble urokinase plasminogen activator receptor, but just suPAR. And we could see that individuals who had elevated suPAR, which is just lost in the bottom, had a 4-time increased risk of dying in the observation period. And one of my PhD students also did a lot of work in this area, and we, at baseline and 5 years later, we measured their suPAR and related it to their lifestyles. And what you see, for instance, the one decreasing is individual who stop smoking. So if you stop smoking, you lower your chronic inflammation. But also you see probably the best advice also in longevity right now, exercise, how much exercise influences your chronic inflammation. At the bottom, at baseline and 5 years later, people who exercise a lot really control their chronic inflammation, but too much Netflix and too little steps and all that, and you increase your chronic inflammation. Actually and if you add all these things up, by 44% increase in chronic inflammation in 5 years. And when we looked at the 5-year outcome and how you changed your life, predicted your cardiovascular risk or mortality, we saw more than a doubling in mortality if you had increased your chronic inflammation. But back to the Inter 99, can we from the government do something early intervention? And the results were published in British Medical Journal, and there were no difference, nothing whatsoever, giving 30, 40, 50 or 60-year-old individuals interventions for 5 years and then say after another 5 years, 10 years, did it affect cardiovascular disease and mortality in the population? And it did not. But my take-home point here is that when we analyzed for individuals with high suPAR in the intervention arm compared to the 47,000 individuals in the control arm, that there was actually a half risk of developing cardiovascular disease and mortality, a half in the risk, meaning that yes, interventions didn't have an effect, but it does have an effect if you have a risk, and maybe it's natural. A 30-year-old smoker probably won't die before they're 40 anyway, unless they at the same time have a lot of chronic inflammation. So my take-home message is that if we want to do interventions and maybe even screening in the society, we should identify risk. And that can be pretty simple. It can be by measuring chronic inflammation and some other biomarkers for more specific for disease, such as long-term blood sugar or cholesterols and so on. And new biomarkers. We are living in a time where it will be quite easy if the politician says, yes, we want to screen, and we can use AI to interpretate all the results and give personal advice to the individual. So we are standing at a time where I think prevention could increase health span, and we have also heard what the significance in the economy and would be for health span.